Yeah.
Okay, we're here with Raphael Pickett. How you doing, Raphael?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good, brother. Doing good. Okay, so at the end of the day, you're in Missouri, and you're trying to do your best to get some terms deals along with your wholesaling deals, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over 5 different situations, and we're taping this. And what you're seeing right now is my screen. And I'm basically going to be typing out some things for you just to keep it simple. All right? I call this prospecting. You ever heard that term before?
Yes.
What does prospecting mean to you?
It reminds me of the 49ers.
There you go.
People go out prospecting for gold.
There you go. Good term, right? And prospecting means it's a bit of work, right? It's not easy. It's kind of like you got to get in the water with your pan and get in the heat and deal with a lot of crap, you know. It's a little bit like that in prospecting, not too much. Hopefully, you know, marketing is different than prospecting. Marketing means you got a system, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's do that. So let's talk a little bit about the 5 boxes, if you will, as far as who have very little equity. Now, can you imagine the best one that maybe has no equity that needs us is the expired listing, okay?
Okay.
Now, tell me what an expired listing means. What does it mean?
It means someone that's listed with a broker to sell a property and they were unsuccessful.
Good. Now, generally, there's a period that they have before the agent and then while it's being listed. So, you know, the agent has kind of marketed to the homeowner, and the homeowner is either knew about the agent before, like let's say there was a friend at church or something like that. A lot of referrals. I mean, a lot of agents get listings because they know people. But then there's a lot of other listings that happen when they don't know that agent at all, you know, and they just have heard something about them. So they could have a relationship with the agent, or they could not have a relationship with the agent. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I know. It's important to distinguish whether or not they have a relationship with the agent if it's expired, because it kind of like changes the tactics. If it's their brother-in-law, right, they're very conflicted because they trusted their brother to sell their house, right? They trusted a family member. So that emotion is a little bit different than if it was just a stranger. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. But the bottom line here is they trusted this person to market for their house, and they failed them, and they're upset. So when we talk to an expired listing person on the phone, or we talk to them in person, and I think in person is better. And I got to tell you why. When we prospect to expired listings, I don't know if you know this, but if you work for Keller Williams or you work with Coldwell Banker or something along those lines, if you talk to those people, their training has to do with new agents going after expired listings. I'm going to repeat that. Their training for new agents has to do with going after expired listings. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm a broker for Keller Williams and I'm training new agents that have no book of business, they need to go get some sales. And one of the best ways is to go after expired listings. Okay? And their job is to get on the phone and hound these people and say, look, I'm sorry it didn't work out with your old agent, but I want to be able to sit down and show you, how our advanced marketing works, and perhaps we can get this house sold quickly for you. So you got to remember that expired listing sellers are being bombarded by agents. Now, how can you differentiate when you talk to them? How can you be different? What would you think of? What would you say to them?
What I say to them? I don't know. Just reassure them that I can get the job done, and
How are you different,
I guess
though?
that's
the
the best
question.
I can. Huh?
Yeah, you got to come up with something better than that. Think now. Well, what are we offering them as a solution? First of all, we're offering speed, right? We can do this quickly. Is that a benefit that we have? Okay, so speed, and they want speed. They really want speed. What else are we offering? We're offering them full price without a commission, right? So we're actually helping them get full price and no commission. Would you agree that that is an unexpected benefit? They're not hearing that from other agents, right? When other agents are trying to talk to them. What else are we offering them besides speed, top price, no commission?
I guess a little bit of security in regards to a tenant buyer versus just a tenant.
Good. It's kind of peace of mind, and peace of mind is all wrapped up into that. They can put their head on the pillow and not worry about this thing. You know what I mean? It's peace of mind that they got a good solution. Now, they can't experience those benefits until we go see them, so we need to give them a free report first. So your prospecting method should be knocking on their door on the weekend and handing them a free report. Okay? And that way, it gets them to learn about lease to own. Now, granted, that's not a phone call, that's not an email, that's not, it takes a little bit of shoe leather to do that, but they have something in their hand now, and now they kind of trust you, right? They kind of trust you.
Right.
Expired listings, just remember this on prospecting, is the best possible lead of all the types of leads that are out there. Because they've tried with an agent, they need a creative solution, they need it fast, they need full price without an agent. They've probably paid on a vacant house 3 to 6 months. And if their PITI payment was $1,000, they're out $6,000 for trying to sell their house with an agent. If they've paid their mortgage payment. You see how they're feeling a bit trapped? And they need some speed. They need to move along. They can't wait another 6 months. All right. Now, this is what I do. I take a 3-page report. I knock on their door, and if there's a car in the driveway, and I hand them the free report. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can go hire a pretty girl to do that on the expired listings. Okay? Now, how can you do that for free? How can you get that done for free? How can you get a pretty girl to knock on a door and hand a report to somebody? Think now.
Send my girlfriend to go to it.
No, don't abuse your girlfriend. I mean, you can abuse your girlfriend if you want to.
I guess I don't know. Enlist a realtor that's cooperative.
Well, I want you to think more college intern. Okay?
Okay.
Can you think like that?
Yeah.
Now, what kind of major would be open to be doing something like this in school?
Communications major.
Business admin, right?
Yeah.
Theater, right? Theatrical. Yeah. People that are like, expressive, right?
Right.
A lot of theater majors are worried as hell that they'll be able to support themselves, because they're trying to do the arts, and a lot of people are, they're not making any money in the arts. So, I would look at a couple of different majors and go talk to, even if it's a community college, go get in a suit and go talk to the head of the department and say, we're looking for one college intern. Okay? Do you know that the vast majority of these things are not paid? All they're looking for is a letter of recommendation from the work.
Right.
Okay. So that's what you have to dangle in front of them. If you want a letter of recommendation from a real estate investment company that's local here, we'll help you with that. But you need to be able to help us with our marketing. And we'll train you on how to do that. And you do have to train them. You can't just send them out and wish them luck. Now, if they knock on the door, no, seriously, you can't do that. Not to 22-year-olds. They'll go, they'll quit. So you got to go out and hold their hand and knock, say, go knock on that door and say this. Now, this is what I would tell them to say. Knock on their door, big smile, right? Huge smile, and say, "Hi, my name is Debbie. I have some free information from you. My boss really wanted you to have this." And hand it to them. And they don't say anything else. They let the report sell it for themselves. And they're going to go, "What's this all about?" Right? I said, "Please just take the report. I'm not going to get paid unless you just take the report. Please take it." So they'll go, "Oh, okay, I'll take it." I mean, it's paper, right? I mean, it's not a big deal. And then he says, "Thank you so much. And if you're interested, please call the phone number. Thank you so much." Now, that gets it in their hands, right? It's better than mailing it. You get more respect from somebody that's actually hand-delivering information. But you don't want them explaining anything. Let the report do the talking for it. Okay?
Okay.
And you probably get calls like, "There was this cute little girl at my door that gave me this friggin' report. What's this all about?" I said, "Well, wasn't she nice?" You know what I mean? She's one of our best workers. Thank you so much for calling. You know what I mean? It makes you look bigger than you are, right? It makes you look like a bigger entity. So that's what I would do on the expired listing marketing prospecting. Okay. Now we're going to go into the listed houses. You are not a licensed agent. You passed the test, but you don't have your license hanging somewhere. Is that right?
Correct. That's correct.
Right. So you don't have this problem by knocking on a door with somebody has a sign out in the yard. You could actually do the same thing with this girl and this pretty girl can hand a report to a listed seller, a house that is listed with Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker or whatever, right? Now she'd say something a little different, okay? I go, "Hi, my name is Debbie, and I understand you're trying to sell with Keller Williams. Congratulations. Now, I have a free report for you that might give you a plan B in case that doesn't work out. Would you like a free report that will help you look at other alternatives?" Chances are they'll take it. And if they say, "What's this all about?" It just gives you another way to sell your house. Would you like the free report? And repeat the request. Right? And it's a lease-to-own report. That's all it is. Okay? You with me?
Okay.
Now, if it is a listed house and it's deep into the listing, meaning it's like 90-day listing, it's on the 80th day, how hungry do you think the seller is going to be?
Pretty hungry for a solution.
Right. Now, if it's 10 days into the 90-day listing, how hungry do you think he's going to be?
Probably pretty cold.
Yeah, so do you understand you don't know where they are in the listing? You just don't know where they are in the process. Right. So if it's a hot, warm, cold situation, you don't know. You don't know where they're at. You just got to deliver the report to the listed house. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, your prospecting person bird dog or whatever you want to call them, they need to make a notation of who have they dropped the report off to. So they need some kind of clipboard or whatever for they can write down the address, and they can write down woman or man that answered the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they handed the report to the woman or the man. It's all they need. You don't need to get anything else, all right? So the address and who they handed the report to. They don't need their name. They just need to know if it was a man or a woman. Because if you do call them, you can say, oh, don't you remember little Susie knocked on your door just a little while ago and gave you that free report? But if it's the man and you didn't get the report, then you say, well, your wife got this report from our assistant, or whatever. It just allows you to talk to them, and know specifically who got it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right.
So the listed house, you need to be a little ballsy with listed houses. And just say, I'm just going to get as many reports in these hands. They want to sell. They want to sell for full price. They've already taken the commission out of their head. They might read that report and say, oh, my God, I can save the commission. That's a lot of money. And they might call you right away. Now, I want to talk about listed houses that want to do business with you. What's the problem? What do you want to avoid? Where's the big problem with listed houses?
I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
Have you ever heard that if you got a listing and you go talk to them and they want to do a lease to own, they're in danger, the seller's in danger of having to pay the commission regardless?
Right.
That's the problem. So what I generally tell them is, look, there's two ways we can work with you. You can go down to the broker and get a release of your listing and maybe pay them $500 to release you. Or you can pay them the commission when the house sells. Which do you want to do? They got to know that up front, that they're liable to pay the commission when the house sells.
Okay.
Make sense? Because our paperwork says, avoid the real estate commission. It's one of the greatest benefits of lease to own. All right, let's go through a couple more. Let's go through landlord. Now, and this is a DIY landlord. It's not a property manager. Somebody that is doing it all themselves. Now, can you think like a landlord for a second? Chances are that landlord tried to...
landlord.
I'm sorry?
I am a landlord.
Okay, good. But realize that a lot of landlords have tried to sell before. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then they couldn't sell, so they're renting it. It's kind of like reluctant landlords. Can that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So if they're a reluctant landlord, they really don't like landlording. Maybe they're just meeting expenses, right? And they tried to sell. And they don't like little things that go wrong and having a negative cash flow with repairs and everything, or taxes or insurance or whatever. They just don't like being a landlord. What I want you to do is to act, when you get a landlord lead, I want you to go set an appointment and walk through the house, okay? Like a renter, prospective renter. Says, oh, I understand this property is for rent. I'd like to be able to walk through it quickly, and then I'll give you my opinion of whether or not I'd like to apply and do a rental application. But I need to walk through it first. If they want you to do a rental application before you even walk through it, don't do it. Don't even bother. Try to get a walkthrough. So you do a walkthrough and you act like a regular tenant. And you say, how much is the rent? What's the energy cost for this place? Blah, 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 right? Act like a tenant. And then go to the front door and shake their hand and says, thank you very much. I just need to ask you one thing. And you look very successful, by the way, when you do this. You can't look like a slob looking when you walk through landlord properties, even if they look like a slob, right? You need to look sharp, all right? open collar, dress slacks, shoes, sports jacket. You don't need a tie, but, look reasonably like a very successful person. And ask them this question. Here's the question. Now, Bob, if I could get you a 2-year lease with the rent you're asking for, and I could get that done in a week, would you give me the ability to buy the house at the end of the 2-year lease at new appraisal, whatever the new appraisal is? If it comes in at 100,000 or 150, that would be the sales price. Would you consider that kind of an arrangement? And it's either yes or no, Bob. You know what I mean? Now, if you're a landlord, what do you like about that?
You like a tenant that's not going to leave after a 1-year term.
Good. What else do you like about it?
You like that it's a new appraised value at the end of the 2-year term.
Good. Anything else?
That they're probably going to take better care of the property, being that they want ownership of it.
Good. So in other words, either the light bulb's going to go on in their head or not, right? Now, they're business people. Mm-hmm. Landlords are business people. They're not emotional. It's all about money. It's all about what's in it for me and what's in it for the other side of the business transaction. They're not stupid. So just keep it that simple. And you have that phrase, I don't care, on a piece of paper in your wallet if you need to refer back to it. Just remember this. When you try to get somebody to think about a proposal, it's, if I could do this for you, would you consider ... So the landlord wants a 2-year lease. So that's what I start with. Make sense? I don't ask him straight up if he'd give me an option to buy or anything like that, do I?
No.
I didn't say, would you give me an option to buy if I rented from you? No, I didn't say that. I asked him, if I could give you a 2-year lease with the rent you're requesting, that's the big light bulb for them, right? Would you consider allowing me to buy the property at new appraisal at the end of the 2-year lease? Most of them say, sure. Then what you need to do, if they say sure and they're interested, is you see, I need to set another appointment to go over some detail how it works with you and whoever else is on the deed. Are you on the deed by yourself, or is your wife on the deed, or what? Why do you need to do that?
So everyone who's on the deed is involved in the decision making?
Good. Or you want to avoid what? You want to avoid a problem. What's the problem?
Let me think about it.
Let me talk it over with my wife, right? Let me talk it over with my husband. Let me talk it over with my dog. Let me talk it over with my psychic. Let me talk it over with, anybody. You want to avoid that. And if he's the only one on the deed, I would say, is there anybody else you need present to make a decision, or can you make that decision by yourself? Do you need your financial planner or your bookkeeper with you? Whatever. Because you want to be able to isolate that objection. Let me talk it over with somebody else. Okay? Happens all the time in sales. All right?
Right.
So that's it. And you make another appointment and you go present the 3-column method to the landlord about showing them how if you sell with an agent versus renting it out versus selling it on lease to own. Okay? Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go into FSBOs. Do you see a lot of FSBOs where you're at?
I really haven't been looking.
That's
I'm
fine.
sure there's plenty on Craigslist.
I don't know. You got to take a look at your market. Go on Craigslist, go for sale by owner of FSBO, see what you can find, okay? Now, there's two kinds of FSBOs. There's investor types that are smart, and there's consumer types that don't know very much, and they're just trying to avoid paying a commission. You got to figure out which is which, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's an investor type, you got to be cautious, right?
Yes.
Because they might try to steal some of your ideas. Okay? Makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, what do FSBOs want? Think like a FSBO for a minute. What are the benefits? What are they trying to accomplish? They're trying to sell, and they're trying to sell fast, right? They want speed. They don't want to do this 90 days, right? They want to get it done in 30 days. They got other things to do besides try to sell this house. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. Do you know that 90% of all FSBOs end up listing it with an agent?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's true. You know why? Because they don't know how to market. And they don't know how to negotiate and close. They don't know how to get the deal closed. So they end up getting exasperated and going with agents. Now, I'll tell you a couple of things about FSBOs. What I generally do is act like a buyer, right? I act like a buyer. And I'll call them up and say, I understand you're trying to sell this house. What's your price? I'll ask them that over the phone to a FSBO. I said, I'm trying to get $160,000 for it. I said, oh, okay. Do you have comps? Do you have an appraisal on the house that says 160, or is that just a number you're in love with? You know what I mean? It's like I try to get him to defend his price a little bit. You know? I said, if I walk through it, you know, and I like it, I'm happy to entertain a fair price, okay? How's that sound? And he'll say, fine. Right? Well, I need to make an appointment. Now, on FSBOs, I generally try to get both parties there. Whoever's on the deed. Okay?
Okay.
So on the phone, I'll say, you want $160,000 for this house, okay? I'll do some research, and I'll bring an agreement with me. Now, who else besides you is on the deed? Because if I like what I see, I'd kind of like to get signatures on an offer. Wouldn't you like to get this done quickly? Because I don't want to, I'd like to get it done quickly if I can. Now, he's going to hang up the phone with you, and he's going to get on it. If it's his wife that's on the deed, he says, I think we got a hot prospect. That's what he's going to say. Right?
Right.
Okay. So what you need to do is to bring comps and of sold houses and also rental comps with you on the FSBO appointment. Right? But that's how you set the appointment with the FSBO. You act like a buyer. You try to get their price. You set a time with all the decision makers there. Okay?
Okay.
Right? Now, there is a bridge that you need to make when you walk through the house with the FSBO, and you got to sit them down at the table. I said, look, I did my research, and, you know, as an investor, we need to buy under retail. Now, a fair retail price that an agent might list the house at is about 155 based on comps, and I'd show them the comps. But the best cash price I can give you is less than that. But I do have a terms offer for you. I'd like to go through that with you, how that works. I can give you $156,000 for the house, but it's on terms. And then I'd show them the 3-column. Okay? Because if they listed with an agent, they would net about, it would cost them about 10 to 15% of the value of the house. If they rented it out, they would get market rent and nothing more. And they get wear and tear and everything else. And then if they sold it on terms, they would get more money because they're allowing for financing. Okay, that's FSBOs. There's one other one that's basically free marketing. And let me ask you a question. You know the wholesalers in your area?
I've spoke with maybe one.
Okay. Have you been to an REIA meeting?
No, I had sent out some postcards, and I guess he had bought a piece of property, and I had sent him a buyer's postcard,
Okay.
trying to build a buyer's list.
So he's a buyer of property, but he's not a competing wholesaler.
Well, he said he does he does it all. He rehabs, he wholesales properties.
Okay.
Anywhere
All
from
right.
10.
Okay. Well, that's great. What you want to do is to take him out to lunch. I say, look, I got a business proposition for you. I want to buy you lunch and talk about it. And find out how much he's paying in marketing every month. And find out how many leads he's getting a month. And how many of those leads is he throwing away? Now, if you were throwing away like 70% of your leads and you could make money with those leads, would you be interested? See where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, we do something a little bit outside the box here. We got private funding for people. What I'd like to do is that if you give me a lead and it's in the right location and it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath in a good school district and we do something with it, we'd like to give you a finder's fee of $500. Would you consider giving us the leads you can't do anything with because it has no equity or whatever? Now,
Do you try to keep it vague with him?
Yeah. You don't want to tell him what you're doing with that. Why? If you tell him everything that you're going to do, what do you think he's going to? He's going to try to do the same
keep
thing.
Those leads, right.
Right. I would just say, look, I got access to some private funds, and they're looking to be able to buy some good rentals. And if you got some pretty houses that are 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and there's not enough equity in the deal, give me a call. And we'll give you $500 if they sign on the paperwork. Now, you only need a couple of wholesalers that are doing that, but you got to follow up every week. Call them once a week. You got any leads that you're throwing away this week? You got to follow up. That's a win-win for him. It's a win-win for you. You like that?
Yeah.
Right.
He's always good.
These 5 are your free marketing. The other thing that you can do is you can go to you can go to yellowletters.com. Now, I know the owner really well, and Michael Corliss there has given us, for our students, has given us a break, a discount. And I won't disclose it on this recording, but you need to call them up, and they will give you a discount.
Okay. So
just say, I'm with Brian Gibbons, REI Skills. I understand Michael Corliss has given us a 10% discount, whatever. He'll let you know. So that kind of like ends the prospecting recording here for you that you can go back and forth to review. Do you have any questions on it? Can you think of anything?
Can I think of what?
Can you think of any questions about this particular training on prospecting? Have you picked up any tips that are valuable? You know, anything you can implement right away that's not going to cost you a lot of money? Have you found it valuable?
Yeah, I did like. Yeah, I like the recruiting the college students.
Mm-hmm. Now, don't make sure she's not too cute, or your girlfriend's going to get jealous. All right. So if you get, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to type up what I just went over, and I'll get you a copy of this. Okay? I'll get you a copy of this.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, man. Look, best of luck to you and your family. Okay? Stay out of trouble. And let's set another time and review this prospecting next week, okay?
Okay.
And I'll get you a copy of this recording.
All right, I appreciate it.
I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.